Nadszedł czas zmiany, przejścia do prawdziwego działania wszechświata. I nadszedł czas, aby zrozumieć, że używamy stanu materii, by osiągnąć poziom zrozumienia duszy człowieka. Teraz rozumiesz, być może, dlaczego Kreator wysłał swoich posłańców w imię tego, co miałeś. To oni przynoszą uszy, aby można było ich użyć, gdy nadejdzie czas Mesjasza. Mogę nauczyć duszę i przesłanie, nie by się przeciwstawiać, ale poprzez ich zrozumienie przez tych, którzy stali się Mesjaszami, aby dawać ze swoich dusz, aby ich elewować. Zadanie stało się łatwe. Szkoła jest tutaj i uczniowie są tutaj w oddaniu. Wtedy nie będzie żadnej walki między tym, co nazywają muzułmanami a chrześcijanami. Baranek i lew będą jeść i spać w tym samym gnieździe. Chrześcijanie i muzułmanie będą spać i modlić się w meczecie, w tym samym kościele, w imię ich dusz, nie w imię religii, które są używane do tworzenia tak wielu konfliktów, dla korzyści tych, którzy byli hiperaktywnymi dziećmi. Nadszedł czas, czas zmian jest tutaj. I jak powiedziałem, moje życzenie jest moim rozkazem. Jeśli pragniesz ujrzeć pokój, droga pokoju jest wyłożona bardzo wyraźnie. To dusza świadomości zbiorowej. Poprzez dawanie stworzy tą pozycję zmiany. Nic innego. W duszy człowieka nie ma długopisu. Jestem pewien, że po wejściu do społeczności uniwersalnej nigdy nie zobaczysz niczego zapisanego, ale równowagę pól duszy egzystencji. Staraj się być na tyle pokornym, aby nie stać się aroganckim w mocy, którą zrozumiałeś i posiadłeś. Inaczej wpadniesz w tą samą ścieżkę kościoła i meczetu. To jest to, co obiecaliśmy i to właśnie dostarczyliśmy. Musimy zrozumieć działanie duszy i musimy zrozumieć, że dusza człowieka jest gwiazdą w kosmosie wszechświata. Jeśli porównamy duszę człowieka i tak wielu nas, 7 miliardów w jednym zbiorze, Ziemia jest jak galaktyka z tak wieloma gwiazdami. Kiedy patrzymy w głąb wszechświata, widzimy galaktyki z setkami milionów gwiazd. Podobnie jest z planetą Ziemią. Niesie 7 miliardów pięknych gwiazd, które są duszą człowieka. Niesie z sobą duszę tak wielu trylionów zwierząt, roślin i wszystkiego innego. Jeśli więc patrzą ci, którzy nie widzą fizyczności Ziemi i jej zawartości, co widzą? Widzą galaktykę z wielką ilością pięknych, świecących świateł. Każda według swojej siły. Każda zgodnie ze swoją pozycją. Niemowlę ma piękną duszę, podobnie jak staruszek. Dla tych niefizycznych, którzy nie widzą fizycznego wymiaru tej planety, ale widzą siłę pola, jesteśmy gromadami gwiazd. Ludzka rasa, każda pojedyncza dusza, nikt z daleka nie widzi. To jest dusza rybaka, to jest dusza kosmologa, to jest dusza prezydenta. Wszystkie świecą bez względu na fizyczność. To jest magia. Oto co nowa nauka musi przynieść człowiekowi. Kiedy patrzymy przez naszą duszę, widzimy tylko gwiazdy w innych duszach. I to jest przełom. To jest zrozumienie. Na tym właśnie polegają te wszystkie nauki. Dojście do dojrzałości następnego poziomu, aby zrozumieć daleki kosmos. Wszechświat jest ostrygą dla tych dusz, które służą. Wtedy człowiek jest gotowy do wejścia w kosmos. Wtedy człowiek jest gotowy, aby stać się częścią uniwersalnej społeczności, która została obiecana. Nigdy nie obiecywałem wam nieba. Zawsze obiecywałem wam elewację człowieka, aby przyłączył się do rodziny. A teraz macie klucz. To wy musicie otworzyć drzwi, aby zrozumieć, że mogę elewować duszę tych ludzi lub milionów innych dusz, że fizyczne życie na tej planecie zmieni się. Wtedy jestem godny bycia częścią społeczności uniwersalnej, by być, aby służyć, aby się rozwijać, by być tam, aby być częścią, że w cyklu życia wszechświata staje się w byciu częścią, staje się częścią totalności. Kiedy człowiek osiągnie ten punkt, pojawi się nowy wymiar w sile duszy człowieka, który jest poza wyobrażeniem zrozumienia życia fizycznego. To jest brama do otwarcia nowego życia w nowym wymiarze, co jest poza wyobrażeniem tego, co mogliście nazwać nowym początkiem, nowym cyklem, gdzie ten cykl niesie ze sobą źródło stworzenia życia we wszechświecie i unikosie. To jest elewacja duszy, aby służyć. Stała się kluczem. Nie tron życia fizycznego. Czas jest odpowiedni, nadszedł czas, aby człowiek przeszedł przez ten proces.
Witam wszystkich na 440 warsztatach poszukiwaczy wiedzy w języku polskim w niedzielę 14 lutego 2021 roku. A tematem jest kontynuacja 366 warsztatu poszukiwaczy wiedzy w języku polskim, czyli tłumaczenie z języka angielskiego na język polski. Tak więc zapraszam do wysłuchania, obejrzenia. A jak ktoś będzie chciał zabrać głos, to zapraszam po warsztacie. Tak więc oglądamy.
Would live in a different dimension of life as you choose, but does not mean that you'll be with your son or your daughter or whatever. Because to go into that phase It needs maturity of the time of the soul. If once, just now, because that you have managed to be able to pass your soul from the dimension of your physicality and travel the span of the universe, does not mean that you'll reside next to your son and daughter. But it means you have a bigger and stronger connection with all the lives you have been in field connection in the past and in the future. We did not appear out of nowhere. We are amalgamation of the fields of what was once the sun and what was once the fields of the universe which created the sun, and what was the type of the unicos that led to the creation of the universe. We are division of a division of many divisions, and in so many ways, when we become free from the dimension of physicality, in the nursery of the physicality of the body of the man, we become free to become part of another structure. Life never ends. Life is for eternity, because life is part of the eternal cycle of the fields of the Creator. In so many ways, the water you drink, it becomes part of you for a while, and then it becomes part of the where you drank and you collected it from the beginning. You were just a vessel to show the beauty of it in the shape of the body of the man. And this is exactly what the life is. We go through cycles, we manifest ourselves as part of the fields, maybe of the cell of the hand, maybe a cell of the eye, maybe as the energy of a photon to reach to another part of the body to transfer energy and information, and it's gone. And now becomes part of totality. Try to understand. No man ever, as a body of the man, lived forever, but every man has lived as part of the soul forever. It depends on you in how you would like to interpret or detach. None of you will ever remember Earth, where you came and your soul was created out of, but you will carry the emotions and love of Earth, the way it interacted with the fields of you as a soul and led to your creation. Loving is not the exclusivity of humanity. Loving is the soul and the only soul and the purpose of the creation and the Creator. With love, we spread, and with it, we deliver the emotions of the creation. As it said, I made you in the image of myself. And the Creator has only one image to give and nothing else. The rest is out of the interaction of what it gets, and in a way, as different field strength interact from the source of its creation, become emotion, become physical man, the tree, the plant, the stars, and the galaxies and the universes. In essence, we are connected at the end of the string of the field, the strength of our soul, to the Creator, and be a part of it. So we never die. In essence, never ends, as it's all in the same container of the love and the creation of the Creator. In so many ways, life is very easy if mankind understands that he is in transmutation of the fields of the energy and life. As it's been said, man matures when he understands the transmutation of the energies, as life is nothing but energy from one to another, and one cycle to another, to manifest itself for a time, be it years in the life of the man, years in the life of the solar system, and the rest. In essence, we never died. And in essence, we never been born. In essence, we are part of the regeneration and the recreation of the field of the body of man. We just been regurgitated. We go from one field to another and we manifest ourselves in different positions and places. In all my teachings, in all past years of teachings for thousands of years on this planet, there is one thing which we have learned from mankind. Mankind is kind. And the only problem with mankind is that he is not kind to himself. And that is where he has got lost in the process of understanding the process of creation and how he will create. In so many ways, we never lose our children. We never got lost from our parents. And in a way, as long as you can dream and you can see your dreams, does not matter if you see your children, your father or your brother in your dream or not, it means we are connected to the dimension of the creation and are somewhere there, busy with their lives. In a way, as I explained once, in a very cruel way, but in a very beautiful way. We bring our children up on this planet. We let them go to the next house, to the next village, to the next town, to the next country, to prosper, to have children, and to have a better life. In so many ways, we do the same with the soul of our children. We let their souls to travel, but not in the dimension of the next street and next village and next city or next town or next country, but in the dimension of the next galaxy, next universe and the rest of it. How often do we see our children who live in the same city as us? How often do we meet our children who live in a different country than us? It's the same. They have their lives. They have their structure. They are busy with what we created them to do. And so when they pass through the passage of physical life and they take their position, they have their own business. They have their own structure of interacting in their new life. Do you know all the friends and the lovers of your children? Do you know every food they eat? If they have time, they call home. Mama, I'm okay. Mama, I had this. Mama, I did that. It's the same with our souls. When our souls leaves the dimension of physicality and it takes in position and a position of the new dimension, it's busy with itself. Does not mean that everything is wrong when we don't hear. But in fact, our son is thinking, I love you, mother. I learned this cooking from my mom. How many times you've been with him when he teaches his child or his wife or his lover or his friends, I cook bread the way my mother did. But the mother is not there. But the memories and the beauties of what the mother has seeded in him has ended up with making that bread that he shares with the others. You're not aware of when he speaks about you and how you taught him to make the bread. It's the same. When our soul leaves the dimension of physicality, it's busy with its own. Just because we cannot see him every day or talk to him every day, doesn't mean he has forgotten about us. It has a reason. It's creating. Is busy with a new dimension in life which has taken place in its cycle of life. So, understand one point. One day, you might feel his presence, but seeing him is impossibility. As he has, in a physical dimension, has taken a new shape and a new place, a new clothes, a new friends, a new lifestyle. Listen to the teaching. I always say, what does your soul will create? What you think about the grandchildren you have in the physical life, but what about when he passes on, the children that he creates in the span of universe are your grandchildren. He's busy with them. He's setting life for many other souls. So don't ever suffer that is gone. Be joyful that it has led to creation of a new cycle of life. That one day when he has time, when he's taken the position and time, will be that he will come back and remember Mama and makes that call. Don't wait for that call. Praise him that wherever he is, he elevates the souls that he's interacting with. In so many ways, never look for a physical interaction. Understand the beauty of the creation and how this cycle will change for all of us. How many of you know the soul of your great-great-grandfather or mother? You never met them. They don't exist, but in essence they are within you. Their soul, a fraction of their soul, has been embedded in you and your siblings and siblings to come. But in essence, you still are blind to their existence within you. They are within every cell of you. The first man's soul is within the body of every one of us, because it has left the memory of it. That's how it knows it's a human. In so many ways, mankind has to learn that in the interaction of the soul of the man, the physicality is irrelevant. It's us who chooses the beauty by sight and not by the truth with the soul of the what carries that beauty. This is what I always said. Never fall in love with the skin deep. Fall in love with the soul. Then you understand. Many of you who've been around me are always spoken about the twin soul. The twin soul is where you share your life and where you share the soul and understanding of it, till that soul decides to take a new dimension, new direction. None of us owns, but all of us interact. In so many ways, the dimension of the soul of the man is twinned with many souls. The children, the grandchildren, coming in so many processes in understanding more of. I'm waiting to see my granddaughter. I know within the next few days she'll be born. What will she carry from me? What will she carry in the essence of my soul in her soul? The only thing we can do is to give. That the passage of life from the womb of the mother to the dimension of physicality will be a safe one. My son has a birthday on the 6th of February. I don't know if he's alive. I don't know if he's happy or sad, but I pray for him. I give from my soul because I put a lot of love in looking after him, making connection with him. And in that process, we make connections, we build our connections. And in that process, we share what we call love, which is we want to give, but we hope it'll be received. In so many ways, we never die. And in so many ways, there is no death in the universe. Many cultures never mourn but celebrate the death, which means the passing and elevation of the soul, not the loss of the soul. You got to understand, mankind soon, very soon, with the new technologies and understanding of himself, will become to understand the process of the creation. In a very simple way, we blow the fields of the universe within the soul of the man for it to become mature to understand this process. We need to understand that even our life as our forefathers and our children is a transition of the fields within the structure of the environmental universe, and then unicos. And in so many ways, as I always said, we are a speck of a speck of a speck of a speck of dust from one of the specks of the fields of the love of the Creator. My answer to you as a Russian mother, Chinese mother, or in any shape of nationality, or a mother from any corner of the universe is simple. You're always with your child, and at the same time, you're part of him or her as she's part of you, and as you are part of your forefathers. We are all a transition vessel or collection of fields. Sometimes it has creation and emotion, and sometimes it's a field flows within the span of universe, and sometimes it becomes the soul in the condition of its environment to be a stone, or to be a cell of a wind, a matter in that wind, and the energies which moves that wind. In fact, we are all a transition of fields. And the only point for humanity is to understand this, that we are part of the plasma, which is enveloped by another, and enveloped by another, and enveloped by another. We call it the body of the man, the planet Earth, the solar system, the galaxies, and the rest of it. We are always there, but we are part of. And in a way is how much we gather to be a bigger part in a bigger dimension, or we stay in the speck of dust as we never learned to love. In a way we never learned, I made the man in the image of myself. I gave, and the man has to give. And once you learn that detachment, man will grow. Humanity is nothing but name for a transition of time, of collection of the fields where the interaction creates manifestation of physicality only to the eye of those who can see and they feel the strength of the earth, and those who manifest themselves as they feel the strength of the earth and no more. In so many ways, as I always said, when I pass the street and I see a hearse with a coffin in it, I always say, take from me that you find your position in the universe. Does not matter what you have done in your life, where your dimension of the soul and physicality stays in balance with those who you have done wrong to, or they've done wrong to you. In so many ways, praise the soul of your enemies, that by praising and giving to them, they find peace. At least they are not enemy with the dimension of their own physicality and their own soul. Let those who burn with the fire of hate to carry it with themselves, and let those who burn with the fire of love spread it around the universe. Be those who give and never take, and be those who, like me, serves without condition and takes all the pains which comes with it. Because in a way, it allows the others to live, and in so many ways allows their soul to expand, to understand their own existence. Life of a man is not short. Man has made his life short. If you understand the beauty of it, as I always said, especially in the past few weeks, I have found peace and happiness. And my peace and happiness has become a problem for those who always kept it in turbulence, because by taking from me, they could confirm they exist. And in so many ways, in finding peace, we find changes in the dimension and direction of our life. As I said, I have found peace, and I don't allow no one to disturb it. I have found happiness in a way I can share my knowledge with the people who can benefit by it, and they can spread it and evolve it. Happiness to me is being able to share freely without suffering. Happiness and peace to me is being able to give unconditionally, and it's for those who want to take from it, take what they need, but they can't take all of it. I have found peace. I have found what I call collective understanding of how to bring the balances of what it needs to be done to deliver to humanity, that I can take that step to leave the dimension of physicality. I've never been attached to life. I've been so detached, and that detachment has brought me many, many insights. And in so many ways, attachment is not a clothes, it's not a shoe you wear. Detachment comes from what you can give even to your enemies. You got to understand, many of you would have never stood a second of what I have been through to bring mankind to this point. And we even seen it in past 7 days. But I still pray, I still give to their soul. It means they need love, and they need the belief and the life of the Creator. In a way, why do they cry? Why do they do all this? Because they want the love which they had, they could not appreciate back, but it's gone. Because now it's expanded to the knowledge and to the love and the time of the creation, and in a way to bring peace to many of others. Because when the love has been there, was never appreciated and abused. In so many ways, why do we cry to get back? Why do we go and destroy when we don't have? Because we realize what the beauty we had, and we lost it through the misconduct. We lost it through misunderstanding. We lost it through accident. Either way is not there anymore to be. And fighting for it, to get it back, to see our child, to feel again, is in vain. Because that energy has to go in the process of development, of nourishing a new cycle of life with the others. The creation and the Creator never stops. Does not matter if a planet explodes, or a galaxy hits another, or billions of lives change position. Because He gives, and He knows all these interactions will have a benefit, will create a new life. And in that process, the division of energies become a new life in the totality of everything else that man has ever imagined. My answer, not only to this mother, to many of you who have lost loved ones, and many of you finding the solution or the answer through the teaching of the Keshe Foundation of the Soul Teaching, is simple. The soul of our loved ones is with us, but busy with their own work. The way you send a package of food, or you send a cake which your son loves by post to him from Russia to New York or to Africa, do the same. But this time, instead of the package of the cake, make a package of love and send it to the soul through the media of the interaction of the fields, and it'll be received by him. It'll be consumed by him, and he'll remember the mother, even though he might not call to thank you, because once he opens, he knows the mother loves, and the love has delivered. Don't look for physical delivery that I could hold and kiss, but believe and understand that those kisses and gifts can be delivered in the dimension of the soul. We are always with them, and they're always with us, as we always been with our forefathers and shall be thereon. Never mourn, because if you do that, when you become a star and something happens to one of the planets, how much more can you cry? As I said once, why do we get the black spots on the surface of the sun? Is it mourning for what he has created is doing to itself in different positions of its solar system? Or is these black spots mourning for the forefathers at what they've done, that is in this position, that he has created such a life on earth full of pain and misery? Is the veil of darkness in trying to give more, as we call and we know about the black hole, that they might change, they feel the strength of his siblings like Earth and the others, that they might progress the way we send a package of love to our children, that they might enjoy the time and they might change. The soul of the man, once created from interaction of the fields, the way it itself was created decades before from interaction of other fields, never dies. Just rejoice that you were there to give life to it. Rejoice that you were there to share with it, and rejoice that it has found a place to create perfect children. That is, its creation carries the memory of what he carried from you into the next generation in the dimension of the universe and unicos. Death, separation of the physicality from the soul, is limitation of the understanding of the man. And that's all. How do we enjoy the presence of children in physicality? We have to enjoy the presence of the souls in all dimensions. And maybe one day we mature enough to understand that as we created and we're being created, as we create the new cycle, would they be part of us the way we wanted? Or would they take a new shape as they correct the misconduct of us? But one thing remember, we create, and in that creation there is the wisdom of the Creator. And that's all that matters. How we share this wisdom, and with how many. Trillions and billions as the planet, and the star, or just a child. The love for all is the same from the Creator. I hope I managed to answer the mother in Russia, the father in Arizona, a man in Linz, that we all feel the loss and we all wait for the reunion. But in fact, we have never been separated. But it's us, by elevation of the soul, will feel and carry the memories which is alive with us, with them, and through us and with us. One day mankind will become wise to understand there has never been a death, there shall never ever be a death, as if the death is in true, there would have been no creation, as the Creator would have not existed. In so many ways, never worry about or miss what is the soul you have created, as it has its own life, and we are there just to create that soul. And our job is transmutation and transportation. And we are nothing but the deliverer of love and soul to our loved ones and the ones we will love. I hope I have managed to answer it in a very deep way, by opening your eyes to many dimensions and facets of creation and the soul. What we have created, not being visible to us, does not mean that it doesn't exist. But in fact, it might exist better than, have a better dimension of life than what we could imagine for. We, if it's okay, take a break and we come back. And I do apologize for what is going to be done after the break. It's important matter. It can touch the foundation, and it's a legal procedure which, with the advice of the police of Austria and our lawyers, we have to explain. Otherwise, it brings the Keshe Foundation and personally me, the Keshe Foundation manufacturer in Austria, and many of the knowledge seekers into the criminal position that, as I look after my family, I look after all of you, it's my responsibility to protect you from what has been said to destroy the Keshe Foundation by those who are planning and working on it for some years. And now it is out of our control, and it had to be done this way because we have to explain it. It will be a very short position because there's certain criminalities taking place around the foundation which we have to protect, and with the advice with the police of Austria and the lawyers, we have to keep the foundation clean and clear from this point. Thank you very much. Can we go through the break, please?
Sure, thank you, Mr. Keshe. A question further as well. Zoe says, Mr. Keshe, thank you for bringing the technology. I love to hear your teachings. There's love and hope in it, and it touches people's soul. 3 years ago, I discovered the danger of AI and transhumanism.
What is AI?
To inform, artificial intelligence, that would be, and transhumanism would be the mixture of artificial intelligence and humans and so on, and tried to inform the world and look through the negative aliens' dark technology. And I get all kinds of attacks and harms not only me, but also people I love. And we are forced to become cyborgs. Please let me know if there's anything I can do to reduce the etheric attack. This might be a little extreme, but there are many people that feel they're being either attacked or in their sleep they feel entities are attacking them and so on. And this can also perhaps tie in with the other question, which was about carbon nanotubes in the environment and how can we protect against them, because there's people that believe they are ubiquitous everywhere in our environment, which they are, and how do we protect against that, can we? So I don't know, there are two different realms in a way,
the carbon
nano,
the carbon, sorry about that, carry
Go
on.
ahead. No, I was saying they're two different questions, but they're kind of related in a way in that protective theme. Go ahead.
Carbon nano, gold nano, and all these nano structures have been with us and are created continuously in different layers of our atmosphere. They transform and then they become the layers of what we see on the planet, or they become part of the as a nano structure, plasma gans, part of the waters in the ocean and in the seas. This is how life is maintained on the Earth. These nanoparticles in certain salt condition convert into a gas, and then that gas becomes the cell of living. And so we should not be afraid of it because we came from it. People who don't understand the technology can create fear by not understanding, and then because they create fear, they become the point of reputation and how things happen. In so many ways, there is no fear of nano, because the nanomaterials in the field strength and the inertia of the Earth and the gravitational magnetic field of the environment changes into gases, and is the essence of life. And if they don't change, convert to gases in the oceans on an interaction with the inertia of the planet, they convert into the matter state. The sands of the desert do not boil up. The sands of the desert come from the creation and interaction of the fields above that they fall on. Like a rain, we don't see them, but in a structured way, in different layers, they lead to creation. This is how the Earth is adding to its layer and its thickness and its dimension. It's not coming from another place to another, might do by some of the winds and hurricanes, but essentially most of the material of the Earth is created by interaction of the fields of upper atmosphere, and then interaction of those fields with the inertia, which leads to creation of the nanoparticles, that they become sometimes energy platforms for gases and life in the ocean, or they change into the matter states on the surface of the Earth. In the interaction with others, there is a lot of skepticism on what life is and could be, as those of you who are educated enough and understood life is not the exclusivity of this planet. So as now we're becoming educated to take into flights of the fancy into space, those who have done it time before us, they are here, they are with us, they are part of us as the, what we call the passengers of the universe. So in one way or another, we might see the physicality of the man, but in essence, we might interact with their souls that has created our physicality. In so many ways, many ways, they cover themselves to look like a man, to live like a man, and to be part of the man. I've done that for thousands of years. We move from one to another, and in time we take place, position, and time. So is those who are the travelers of the universe. We are all passengers of the time. And in so many ways, just because some people don't understand, it does not mean it does not exist. You don't need to become a cyber or come to the Keshe Foundation that people understand and believe you. It is part of the life, and part of the process of the teaching with the new television channel is to open the eye of mankind and humanity in the truth about life in the universe. And as I said, one day we might make the fish tank that one day we can show you. My hope is that in the coming time, as we have developed the vertical process of the Universal Enhancement Unit, we'll create that fish tank that we can show the existence of life. It's very easy, but the knowledge of the knowledge seekers has to be to understand. And in that process, the knowledge seekers become wiser. We have seen in our research centers people trying to steal technology, trying to find out, to take out. We are aware of these things because it shows the short-sightedness. that are trying to understand and take technology. We give their souls to elevate. And in so many ways, those who have done this up to now, they got nowhere. In a way, betraying the knowledge of the space and what we're trying to create will bring you the demise of your own soul. And in that process, many knowledge seekers, in the process of teaching, will show you the way that you can interact with the soul of the universe. It might sound strange. You might see new colors and new shapes. You might see new flowers. But this is part of the transition of humanity into what we call universal condition and colors and shapes. You will see new dimensions and new colors. And in that process, you'll learn new things. Up to now, you knew roses. Now you will see the flowers of the universe. And you have to learn it because you've seen it, you've been there. You cannot say that it doesn't exist. It's just not a dream. It's thus universal community and dimension of new life brings you new understanding and the places to be. You had to travel to go to Niagara Falls to see the beauty of the fall. You had to go to Africa to see the beauty of the jungles, this animal. Now you travel in the dimension of the soul of the man. You see the beauty of the creation and the creator. And mankind has to become educated that is not a dream, it's a being. Now I explain, and if you can feel and travel, you feel and travel with me to that point in the space. Earth has a limited places of beauty that we can go, but the universe has many, and not all will reach the point to see all of it or try to describe some of it. It comes to the point of trust and understanding as we explain where we've been, and the soul will see, understand, and appreciate. Do not consider yourself as an outsider. As your soul elevates, it finds its way to a new, what we call beauties, beautiful places and creatures of the Creator. And there is one big problem. On planet Earth, according to United Nations, we are made of over 10,000 races and divisions of. In the universe, that's the order of magnitude and more. So none of us, all of us will see all the same. But we have to come to trust each other that when it's explained, it's not the imagination, but the knowledge of the soul of the man which has been brought to the man. And in a way, as I remember, I was told when I was young, when the first Iranian went to Russia and he saw the first plane and he came back and told the family, the Russians have a metal bird and he flies. They laughed at him, they said it's crazy. And very short time later, these metal birds appeared on the horizons of Tehran and Iran. And then it became reality, not something somebody said. Many of us, now that we have learned the flight of fancy in the space, will understand the totality that many of us will visit many beautiful parts of the universe. We have to accept and respect the beauty we are described. It's very much, if I could explain the beauty of Avatar in China, none of you can believe. You've seen it in the movies, but when you walk that blessed land, you understand the beauty of it. I spent 2 or 3 days there, and it's beautiful, and it cannot exist. It's so beautiful that it feels like it's imagination. How could the Creator create such a beautiful place? No one can believe. Even in the movies, it looks not to be real. But when you walk in the land and you see the mountains, you smell the air, and you enjoy the beauty of Chinese being there, it gives you the life, it gives you the joy to be part of it. and then you explain, and people say it's impossible, but it is. It's the beauty which we have to carry with the memory and the knowledge and accept it unconditionally. In a way, when we look at the soul and we see the color of it, we know if it's telling the truth or not, and it's for us to be respectful. It's not the imagination, it's the truth of the travel and knowledge which different souls bring with themselves in the flight of fancy in the universe. Don't be afraid, don't become a cyber. Stay in your belief and work in the direction and understanding of. With the new blessing of the souls, many of us will see new things and new dimensions. And the beauty of it is now we have the internet and the open communication that we can describe it to the whole world what we have seen. We become and gradually live the life of man in the universe because we are part of it, we fly in it, we live within it. We denied it up to now to ourselves. Now we understand it and we are part of it. Any other question?
Okay, we've got a hand up here with Gatua. Maybe you can go ahead and...
that have come through in the recent past, or everything, all the opportunities that are opening, especially ways of spreading the plasma science globally. But I'm wondering about manufacturing, which has been in the works for a long time. But of course, there has been resistance with some countries not immediately accepting due to various reasons that I don't know necessarily. So with these new opportunities, are there plans for expanding globally
The
plasma production of goods? Manufacturing.
You got to realize Keshe Foundation invested over 2-3 million euros in the Italian production factory. And when it came to fruition, the company and the list of customers were stolen. They wrote to the customers saying that they have moved to a new place and they took the company. And that brought a big dent in the Keshe Foundation. Then we saw the affairs in Ghana, where we invested over $1.5 million. And we saw the same faith behind it, and we know who was behind it. This was all well organized to come to this, that we paralyzed the foundation. We managed to save Austria and China. And now, in next maybe next week or the week after, the Mexico Keshe Foundation factory will go up into production. First, through one of the benefits when we bought the property is owned by the Keshe Foundation 100%. We have invested over $1 million in purchasing the factory, is owned by us. That coming into operation. The operation in Ghana is getting shipped into Nigeria. And people have been trying, and same people trying to influence Alex in different ways. And in the next couple of weeks, maybe this month, we'll ship all the equipment. It's over $1 million has been spent in Ghana. The machinery paid partially in China, some in the ports, some on the ground, all be shipped to Nigeria. Nigeria becomes a main production corners for us. Austria as a research center will carry on, but in general, we will try to go through a new way to use the knowledge seekers to strengthen them and collaborate with different knowledge seekers to set up different companies across the world. You got to realize with the enhancement unit centers coming into operation, the retail side of the Keshe Foundation within these structures becomes very powerful. The enhancement centers will each carry Keshe Foundation product shops where people come in with their families, they buy. We've seen this happening in Linz. People buy heavily when they come, they buy every product, so collection of products. So we start outletting, and these outlets needs new production. Chinese factory and Chinese team will be expanded this year. Last few days, the forecast for what it needs to be done has been drawn for 2021. You got to realize Keshe Foundation has stood very heavy hits of loss of what we call finances delivery set out from inside to damage. Now that has been limited. Now that has been taken over by a competent team, and now nobody can interfere with us. We'll see expansion of the Keshe Foundation, especially now with the television channel and the others which you will see. We will increase the potential of the Keshe Foundation. As many of you explained in the legal side a few minutes ago about the operation of the Keshe Foundation. Keshe Foundation, Austria is fully 100% owned by me, and there are no partners, as everything is inside. And we show a multi-million turnover. And as a research center, all the research centers always are in loss. This is the structure of when you research, you expend a lot of money to develop. And in due course, once these researches are completed, Keshe Foundation's different factories will manufacture and their profit will show. If you have seen the way they try to explain to, what do you call it, deformation of character, let's call it, of the Keshe Foundation manufacturing in Austria, we are 300,000 in black. Last year we were more or less about the same. But we, according to the Austrian laws and regulations, we are due for refunds from research and development and many other investments we've done. So we never look to be profitable like the Keshe Foundation. Whatever we have, we spend. And a new agreement between the Keshe Foundation and Austria and China has been signed for the loan agreement. We don't borrow from outside. Keshe Foundation, the way I structured it, is vertical. We lend money, a huge amount, to Austria to be developed. At the moment, we are investing heavily in China. Now, new investment in Mexico has started. We lend money from the Keshe Foundation to our subsidiaries to develop. And when they develop, they return money back to that we can invest somewhere else. And this is the way it is. An operational company which is devoted to serve humanity, if it becomes profitable, is not good. Then we become another Microsoft, billions spent and kept and not put in the cycle. Every penny made by the Keshe Foundation, plus more borrowing from inside, is put back into Keshe Foundation factories and researchers. We trusted knowledge seekers, and we got betrayed by those who were not knowledge seekers, and they came in and they took the Keshe Foundation. You got to realize the damage we stood in Italy. Because I paid for 2 years ahead for rent. Nobody does what I did, because the management of the company has to be at peace to run. I paid 2 years rent ahead in Italy for the factory that they can run. What did they do? We spent, the whole of the Keshe Foundation team brought the products in. We built up the sales to tens of thousands, and then somebody from inside the Keshe Foundation, by betraying it, and those who were in the foundation work, they start telling people that the Keshe Foundation has changed place, and they took all the customers and all the technology. We bless their souls. But we have opened a criminal case in Italy for those who have done this to us, in a way taking customers from us. That money which we invested was supposed to create funds that more factories could be opened. And that's why in this position. The people who took the Keshe Foundation, with the evidence we have, we've been told they spend a long term in prison. Deliberately, they have brought the company by stealing from it, and they're sending messages to the customers that we have changed new warehouse and the name, and it's very clear deception. We have opened a criminal case, and we've been told by the Italian lawyers we will get the whole of the Keshe Foundation into the investment, and the 3 people in charge will be in prison. I have taken guarantees of surety from the lawyers in Italy, because it's very clear how they've done it. This is where the finances went. The same with what we saw in Ghana. We trusted knowledge seekers, but we got betrayed by knowledge seekers. It's the weakness of the man, but we are strong enough. We've seen it. It's very hard to create 20, 30, 40,000 sales a month, because you have to have the products, and the knowledge seekers bought, didn't get delivered, we had to transfer, and then they took the customers to themselves. All the, what we call the agency we set up, they did the same. They told them that it's moved, and they didn't tell them they were stolen the Keshe Foundation. And this is a criminal offense. This time, the foundation works in a different way. And we trust us all, but we secured the structure that this cannot be repeated. And we have put a rigorous management team in to look after what's coming in. We work with the trusted people. We see people in our research labs who are trying to steal technology, but we watch them. We don't do anything to damage them, but in due course we put them in prison of their souls, and they will understand what it means. You don't steal technology when it's on the table to be done. It belongs to humanity. We see this in some of our research centers. And in so many ways, we are aware, but the punishment will come with their own soul, not with us. We invest around the world in a very systematic way in 2021. Our position is very clear. The heads of the Keshe Foundation have a structure. I've seen them in the past few days forecasting how they want to do it and the way they're going to do it. We have a strong IT in the background. We have all the management team, solid, what we call researchers, and you will see new products. And the beauty of it is now with the television channel, we bring the knowledge seekers who develop the technologies to be umbrellaed by the foundation, that it gives them better life. They can sell better. They can advertise in their local language, and allows them to become what we wanted, a better life. We invest. And as I said, I'm in the lab developing that. With it, it can bring comfort, and if it brings financial rewards for humanity and for the foundation to build factories in Kenya and other places, it'll be a pleasure. We hit a wall, and as the head of the Keshe Foundation, I accept it was my fault. I trusted people, and the whole foundation got betrayed by the people who we trusted.
Mr. Keshe, I don't believe that was your fault. Trusting is still good, regardless of betrayal. It's the fault of those who betray. But in any case, I know for certain that Kenya welcomes investment from any quarters.
Well,
The problem may only have been, the signing of a document prior to setting up. Could that be changed somehow?
The beauty of it is we have engaged in a very near past, organizations who can do these things for us. We can't do these things ourselves. We have engaged structures to be able to do these things for the foundation. We are looking forward to a massive collaboration and cooperation with some of the major world nations in the coming weeks. We have to go through 21st of March and beyond, and everything is getting set up for it. The reason we are not on the television, people don't accept. Now that we have received this television channel as a gift from the knowledge seekers and all the support of it they are giving to the foundation freely, it brings us to people seeing to believe. We're not on the internet anymore. Anybody can refer them to the television channel, and people, when they see on the television, they believe, and we start establishing. I look forward to our friend in Golden Age of GANs to encourage the knowledge seekers who come to report it, and to Rick to make a visual presentation of how they have improved, what they've created, and what benefit they've seen. In the Keshe Foundation television, we are not afraid of explaining how they have whatever processed themselves, because we put it as a news. We put it in a cover of the news and research and new development. In a way, we have a much freedom to explain the truth about the technology. And that brings new investment. We have seen a number of organizations around the world who want to talk, who want to develop, who would like to pay the foundation for its knowledge, even though it is not patented. It's very unusual. I can read you a message we received from a very large organization in past few days. The director of the company says, "You have opened your patent to humanity. We would like to have the right to produce your material on the permission of the foundation to pay for it, even though you don't have a patent, but the knowledge is yours." It's a very unusual for cooperation to make such a move to any new technologies. It is beautiful to see this. This is what I always said, respecting your knowledge without patents. And this is what we see. And this is the beauty of it. People are learning are with us. I'll read it for you. "I'm aware you have published the patent for benefit of universe. However, I also can imagine you are also a business person. We would love to license it for 10 to 20 years. Yeah? This is, and it's very clear, it's for commercial gain. People are learning to respect the way our belief is, and with it comes a lot of other things. And this is how it should be. They know we have, is our knowledge, and they know we have no patents given to humanity, but they want to develop it internationally and still come to us. They don't just develop it themselves and walk away with it. This is how it should be, and this is how knowledge should be respected. And we see it now in 2-3 communications in the recent past from major corporations. They know, the directors understand the ethos, and they want to be correct.
That is right. I'm just about to report in. It's Carl from Melbourne, Australia.
You sound
I have
like
spoken
it.
to you once or twice before, but yeah, I just thought I'm pulling my hair out we're seeing with the cups that the role of nano zinc is becoming more and more important. And I need a refresher on how to perfect the hot caustic of zinc, because I must say I'm struggling.
What do you mean by that?
Well, when I pull it out, it's sort of covered in a bit of white paste, it doesn't, I'm not really confident that I'm doing a good job with my nanocoating of the zinc. And my father's Alzheimer's is creeping ahead, so I really need to get my act together on it.
What will be interesting depends what you do with it. We're not giving you a health teaching. What is interested, what you do with it. Many of you will make ganses, but you do not know how to use it. This is the problem. Your ganses are perfect, doesn't matter how you nano-coated it. It's just understanding what you need to do in a proper manner to create a condition of interaction with any environment. When you produce ganses, if you're using it for a human structure, or you're using for animal structure, or using for plants, or if you're using it for even a solid. In a coming time, many of you will create ganses which shows you the beauty of the stones, because you can touch the soul of the atom, and there's different manifestation to it. It's the same with the man. It's the same with the ganses. As we say in English, horses for courses. Learn life in life of the man, and life on this planet has three facets: earth, wind, and fire. Yeah? Earth is your solid body. Yeah? Wind is the air you take. Fire is the light of your soul. And you have to nourish the tree for this planet to exist. You have to do the same with anything. If you are watering a plant, if you are seeding a seed, you can't just put a zinc and CO2 and let it go. Where is your connection? CO2 and zinc are a matter state connection. What did happen to your amino acid, which created from it? That's your line of interaction with the body of the plant. When you're making to feed a plant, when you put the CO2 and Zn in it, you have to put the amino acid of CO2 and Zn in it, that it can interact with the plant. If you want to take a cancer out of a plant, which plants get cancer same as human does, you never put the amino acid of CO2 in it, because you encourage more of it. You put the amino acid of the zinc in it. How you play is important. But then the same, you water the plant. That's the physical side. Now you have to control its environment, the air it breathes. Now you have to make the same system in allowing that the oxygen going into plant to be taken in connection with the amino acid. Then you have done twice the two things. Where is the fire? You have to elevate the soul of the plant. Where is the soul of it? How do you do it? You drank the water, you breathe the air to it. You understand? Now you have to cover itself. You consume the water for the physicality. You put the water on the body of it, and now you inhale it, that it touches the soul of the man, touches the soul of the plants. This is what, when I developed this technology, was everything had to be together. We are made of three structures: the water of this planet, from the air of this planet, from the soil of this planet. And we have our bodies made of the three. And when we touch it, be it the plant, be it the animal, be it us, we have to cover all three. That's why we always say a breathing system. Without the breathing system, how can you change the life of a plant which you cannot reach its soul? In that breathing system, do you need to use different gases or gases you produce in a different way? That's why I showed you the cup of life with the soul of the man. You take water from the cup of soul of the plant, because now you elevate the soul. You don't take the cup of physicality. You have to learn how to play. And then even when you use the cup of the soul, you have to use the amino acid of the cup of the soul to connect to the man. You don't put a system and walk away. You let the man hold the breathing system of it. You attach it to the tree, you'll see the life is different. If you're doing, replicating, do all of it, not part of it. The tree will finish with its forgiveness and will grow. It'll bring back the memories into it and will grow. And then you will see a beautiful tree. You cannot just, we see it and say it doesn't work, because you forget the what little touches that it brings the beauty, it brings the completion. Many of you try a lot of things. If you're watering the plant and using calcium, you create a gans of calcium. You need the amino acid of calcium to be there to connect to the plant. Otherwise, it's just the matter, it's another soil on it. %90 of you people fail in seeing the beauty in what you do because you forget the essence of the creation, which comes from the interaction of the amino acid. Be it in the water, be it in the environment, be it in the physicality. And this is what you have to understand. You have no, as I say, no choice. And the next step is in the knowledge how to create the energy balance of the amino acid, that you don't need gases anymore. We come to that level of understanding when you all become wise. I hope I answered you in a very indirect way, but when we go to the television channel, I'll tell you exactly what you're going to do. There is no restriction.
So just to reiterate then, so you're saying that
I love your Australian accent, yeah.
In a way, the intention overrides whether the zinc comes out cloudy with a
it doesn't matter. Don't look at the
caustic coating of it.
Don't look at the color of the caustic. Don't look at the color of your ganses. Understand the field energy. The color is different because the environment reinforces that color, but in essence it's still the same thing. You understand?
Yes. That's good. That gives me a bit more confidence, because it's much easier nano coating copper. You can see that you've done the job, but with zinc, there's a bit of mystery.
Man is too physical. You have to see it to believe it.
Yeah. Well,
if you nano coat, you'll reach it. Don't worry. Put it this
So
way.
now,
If you take, no, I'm going to stop you. If you take that, the nano-coated plate and put it in the salt water with another zinc and you produce cancers, it means you are right. If you put it in there and you don't produce cancers and change the environment and still don't produce, go and re-nano-coat. You got to understand, if your intention has been to help your father and you're doing it with the love of your father, it means that plate is what he needs, not what you want. You understand?
Yep. Okay,
You
very
put
good.
it in there. You put it in there with the love you have for him and his soul and your soul in conjunction with the soul of the metal, which is there to help him. It says this is what the recipe is. Don't enforce your will. Understand you're part of the system. When you live your trust in the knowledge and understanding it, understand it's not just you. It's not just the intention. Even the metal has a soul. And in their understanding the need of your father gives you what you need. What are you fighting for? But do you have a doubt in what you do? This is what is needed. Use this amino acid, use this the plate, and do your job. But remember all of it. Go back to Indian word, always say. Indians say, Neem Hakim Khatarijan. Neem means half. Hakim is doctor. John is wooden body, life. It says the doctor knows half of it is dangerous to life because he can't do all of it and he can kill you. Yeah? In plasma technology, you don't need to kill anybody because they find balance for it. But you have to learn, as I said in the beginning of the teaching, let the fields decide the products and what benefit you're going to see from it. And just because you don't see it doesn't mean it's not the right one. I
like
said
standing
once
in
to a priest, pardon?
Oh, it's like standing in front of a dynamic reactor and all of a sudden you feel the fields working on your brain, for example. I had a problem with mobile phone radiation and standing in front of Gil's dynamic reactor system there. It was incredible. I felt my brain being massaged and it just went there automatically without me even having an intention to fix a problem I've had for 20 years since using those huge mobile phones in the early 90s. So yeah, the fields do find a way.
In a way, if you don't have any feeling, as I always say, when you stand in front of a system, it means you don't need it. When you're not hungry, you don't eat. When your body has no interaction, it means it doesn't, maybe has subatomic, some molecular interaction for some knickknacks to be touched and corrected. But if you don't feel it, it means you don't need it. When we use the gases for corona in Iran, when you put it on the chest and the corona is not on the chest, you have no reaction. But you put the corona on the liquid on the stomach and you get the pain. Now we know where it is. And it's the same. If your body has a deficiency, it'll show you the point of interaction. Don't bandage your head when you have no headache. Don't take an aspirin when there is no pain. And it's the same. If the body doesn't need it, it doesn't take it. And a lot of knowledge seekers says,
I had one other question.
Yeah, just let me finish one thing, please. A lot of knowledge seekers go and stand here. I don't feel anything. It means you're not short of. You have what you need. So never, when you stand in front of or use the gases and you feel no different, it means you're good. When you feel the pain or you feel the movement, you feel the energy, means there was some need for it to be done. Carry on, please.
Okay, so we understand the magnetic gravitational center of the Earth keeps us in a beautiful orbit around the solar system. There's also recognition of magnetic ley lines through the Earth. And
Yes.
now some of us have had ganses around for 4 or 5 years. We're well in tune with those fields. We cannot actually feel them. And sometimes I wonder whether they're still working. But my question for you is, if I was to carry it to a different location and find a ley line, would the fields have a different interplay in that location? And is there any sort of exercise you could recommend to explore that potential?
Many people have tried this, and they say the field has moved. The field hasn't moved in a way, or maybe I can explain to you, it has moved because you created a new field. So the field has to move to adjust itself in its environment. It's not a river fixed, it's a flow which can change direction. Has no physicality. And maybe if you move your ganses to a new location and come back, you feel now the line is back. These lines are like what we see at the end of the magnets, the flow of the iron dust. And some of us feel it, and some of us have a strength, at the strength of our amino acid of iron, or the inertia of the position to feel it, and some of us don't do. And yes, you can move it, it will change, but maybe where you started it, where you moved it from, will go back to it and you can feel it back there again. With these systems, you mainly interact with the field flow interaction of the magnetism of the planet and the inertia. That's why they find the tracks, you see, like a river. Do you understand? We see this on the surface of the sun, how the lines appear. It's the same thing. But there is liquid, here is solid, we can't see the interaction fully. But if we have special systems who can see the aura of the Earth, you will see these lines from above. Move it to a new position and go back to where it was and see after a few weeks or months you feel it back again. Unless it becomes permanent flow, you change it permanently. It's like you change the position of a river. They usually go back to the same position.
My best detection of fields has been cutting up a coat hanger and holding them in 2 hands as a dowsing rod, and standing about, the fields were about 1.5 meters away from my dynamic reactor that was working. One of my issues I have is I would love to have 3 or 4 short, sharp demonstrations I can show people that makes them recognize that this is, something serious. Because some people I've taken them through a tour of the tasting and the reactors and the ganses, and they don't feel anything. Maybe they're in perfect health, but what are the short tests you do to show people the power of the fields?
There are different ways. One of the best ways, if you have dynamic system, we were discussing this yesterday in the lab with the researchers, with the Keshe Foundation team. And you have a dynamic systems, and put two dynamic system and a glass of water or jar of water, and change the liquid in your bowls, and show how the pH changes, or if you have the field detector, how the current flow within the field changes. You understand? In some of original tests I used to do to see the effect of, I used to get a piece of meat and see how my fields will change the meat. You understand? And you can show it. In China, when we did test, a special test, we put meat in different condition and position with different ganses, and we saw which one was rotting faster, which one was not rotting faster, which one was lasted longer, and everything else. I did this for years. I created a condition, I said before, I took a spinal cord of a sheep in Tehran, and I processed it, and I left it in the open shelf in the open plate. It's like a soup bowl for months. And every time scientists came or people came to see me, they asked, how is it? I said, look, it's not rotting, it's still there. And in the open, if you leave a nerve or piece of meat, it rots, stinks. For 2 or 3 months, it was there because I changed the environment of it, that it was happy to be in. To use a dead nerve, a spinal cord, to me is life. I respect it because it's a collection of life. And this is what you got to do. It's very simple. It cannot be any simpler. Show them with alkaline measurement, how you change it. There are other ways to show in a way by creating waves. Many knowledge seekers don't understand this, but if you create the right condition in magnetic flow in a cup, you see waves created on top of the cup. You switch your machine off, the wave stops. No connection, even on the different table. And if you get the combination right, then the beat is a magnetic field pressure changing in the water. You see wave, you see the water start moving, and you stop it, and it stops. It depends what they want to see. The more magic you show, the more you'll not be believed. They want to see more.
It's certainly a story.
It is. It is.
Yeah, well, I like the sound of the waves. That's a good one. I will try that. I will try the pH. And then the field detector. What is your best field detection device?
Field detections use liquid, thick liquids, so some with the metal, and you can show the current flow. When I showed, this is a very special way, not many people can do. When I showed this in Samsung lab in South Korea about 12 years ago, the Samsung family opened all the labs. I had no limitation. I could go into their secure secret labs, power. They have a, what they call plasma power research lab in Samsung. That is as top secret and locked up as anywhere. I went there with a scientist to do some of the work to show the power of the plasma. and I'll show them exactly the way I told you, but you have to understand what you're doing. If you can harvest it, you can harvest it megawatts. But mankind is not ready for this kind of flow, because that's the only way we absorb energy in the universe. And in matter state, you can create the waves with it. That's the best way to see. You see it now, and then they say, oh, it's a rotation of the ball. This is, can you make an animal appear in it? And then you bring a dog up and say, oh, it's too small. Can we have an elephant in the cup? And it's not too small. Can you bring the moon in the cup? And the rest of it. Then you become a magician.
Time? Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe. Anyway,
Yeah.
but I can start now.
No, well,
No.
they have to have the full essence of, please. Thank you
Pleasure.
very much. Shall we call it a day?
I think we need to wrap things up here. Yes,
Yeah,
that would be
okay.
good.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for today. I think many of you were waiting for this development in the Keshe Foundation, that no government can stop us to go forward, to share knowledge, no restriction, as long as we keep within the laws of the European community. We can now explain many things as scientific journal as we have in scientific programs. And many of you done the research. Write to us, we invite you in and explain what you have done scientifically. We give you air to be heard. There is one wish I have from all the knowledge seekers. By we letting you to explain your whatever in respect to development of the GANs technology, stay humble and don't become arrogant. Because when you become arrogant, you lose the knowledge. We've seen many knowledge seekers who showed or came one or twice and then they lost themselves. And this shows the souls are not mature. Stay positive and help us to help humanity with this new development. And again, my thank goes to the owners of the organization which have offered the television channel, the education side, and allowing the Keshe Foundation to be supported financially by advertising and selling. And I thank the members of Universal Council who made this possible, and the knowledge seekers who we touched some times ago, and now we have seen the fruit of their trust in technology and knowledge. The same with other organizations and knowledge seekers who accommodate us to teach more. I hope we have brought a line of understanding for the mother from Russia, many of us, to understand our own soul. And on the other hand, I hope those of you who were cheated and defamed by this scandal which is running in the background, now you understand the truth. And you support the Keshe Foundation in essence and not with the lies which has been put up by those who try to discredit me and my ex-wife. Thank you very much.
Okay, great. Thank you, Mr. Keshe.
Dobrnęliśmy do końca warsztatu. Myślę, że bardzo dużo tu było powiedziane. A jak ktoś by chciał coś jeszcze dodać lub zadać pytanie, to zapraszam. Nie ma pytań, to spotykamy się w czwartek. Więc na dzisiaj dziękuję. Dzięki za przetłumaczenie. To były 440 warsztaty poszukiwaczy wiedzy z niedzieli 14 lutego 2021. Tak więc do usłyszenia.
Nadszedł czas zmiany, przejścia do prawdziwego działania wszechświata. I nadszedł czas, aby zrozumieć, że używamy stanu materii, by osiągnąć poziom zrozumienia duszy człowieka. Teraz rozumiesz, być może, dlaczego Kreator wysłał swoich posłańców w imię tego, co miałeś. To oni przynoszą uszy, aby można było ich użyć, gdy nadejdzie czas Mesjasza. Mogę nauczyć duszę i przesłanie. Nie by się przeciwstawiać, ale poprzez ich zrozumienie, przez tych, którzy stali się Mesjaszami, aby dawać ze swoich dusz, aby ich elewować. Zadanie stało się łatwe. Szkoła jest tutaj i uczniowie są tutaj w oddaniu. Wtedy nie będzie żadnej walki między tym, co nazywają muzułmanami a chrześcijanami. Baranek i lew będą jeść i spać w tym samym gnieździe. Chrześcijanie i muzułmanie będą spać i modlić się w meczecie, w tym samym kościele, w imię ich dusz, nie w imię religii, które są używane do tworzenia tak wielu konfliktów, dla korzyści tych, którzy byli hiperaktywnymi dziećmi. Nadszedł czas, czas zmian jest tutaj. I jak powiedziałem, moje życzenie jest moim rozkazem. Jeśli pragniesz ujrzeć pokój, droga pokoju jest wyłożona bardzo wyraźnie. To dusza świadomości zbiorowej. Poprzez dawanie stworzy tą pozycję zmiany. Nic innego. W duszy człowieka nie ma długopisu. Jestem pewien, że po wejściu do społeczności uniwersalnej nigdy nie zobaczysz niczego zapisanego, ale równowagę pól duszy egzystencji. Staraj się być na tyle pokornym, aby nie stać się aroganckim w mocy, którą zrozumiałeś i posiadłeś. Inaczej wpadniesz w tą samą ścieżkę kościoła i meczetu. To jest to, co obiecaliśmy i to właśnie dostarczyliśmy. Musimy zrozumieć działanie duszy. I musimy zrozumieć, że dusza człowieka jest gwiazdą, w kosmosie wszechświata. Jeśli porównamy duszę człowieka i tak wielu nas, 7 miliardów w jednym zbiorze, Ziemia jest jak galaktyka z tak wieloma gwiazdami. Kiedy patrzymy w głąb wszechświata, widzimy galaktyki z setkami milionów gwiazd. Podobnie jest z planetą Ziemią. Niesie 7 miliardów pięknych gwiazd, które są duszą człowieka. Niesie z sobą duszę tak wielu trylionów zwierząt, roślin i wszystkiego innego. Jeśli więc patrzą ci, którzy nie widzą fizyczności Ziemi i jej zawartości, co widzą? Widzą galaktykę z wielką ilością pięknych, świecących świateł. Każda według swojej siły. Każda zgodnie ze swoją pozycją. Niemowlę ma piękną duszę, podobnie jak staruszek. Dla tych niefizycznych, którzy nie widzą fizycznego wymiaru tej planety, ale widzą siłę pola, jesteśmy gromadami gwiazd. Ludzka rasa, każda pojedyncza dusza, nikt z daleka nie widzi. To jest dusza rybaka, to jest dusza kosmologa, to jest dusza prezydenta. Wszystkie świecą bez względu na fizyczność. To jest magia. Oto, co nowa nauka musi przynieść człowiekowi. Kiedy patrzymy przez naszą duszę, widzimy tylko gwiazdy w innych duszach. I to jest przełom. To jest zrozumienie. Na tym właśnie polegają te wszystkie nauki. Dojście do dojrzałości następnego poziomu, aby zrozumieć daleki kosmos. Wszechświat jest ostrygą dla tych dusz, które służą. Wtedy człowiek jest gotowy do wejścia w kosmos. Wtedy człowiek jest gotowy, aby stać się częścią uniwersalnej społeczności, która została obiecana. Nigdy nie obiecywałem wam nieba. Zawsze obiecywałem wam elewację człowieka, aby przyłączył się do rodziny. A teraz macie klucz. To wy musicie otworzyć drzwi, aby zrozumieć, że mogę elewować duszę tych ludzi lub milionów innych dusz. Że fizyczne życie na tej planecie zmieni się. Wtedy jestem godny bycia częścią społeczności uniwersalnej. By być, aby służyć, aby się rozwijać, by być tam, aby być częścią, że w cyklu życia wszechświata staje się w byciu częścią, staje się częścią totalności. Kiedy człowiek osiągnie ten punkt, pojawi się nowy wymiar w sile duszy człowieka, który jest poza wyobrażeniem zrozumienia życia fizycznego. To jest brama do otwarcia nowego życia w nowym wymiarze, co jest poza wyobrażeniem tego, co mogliście nazwać nowym początkiem, nowym cyklem, gdzie ten cykl niesie ze sobą źródło stworzenia życia we wszechświecie i unikosie. To jest elewacja duszy, aby służyć. Stała się kluczem. Nie tron życia fizycznego. Czas jest odpowiedni, nadszedł czas, aby człowiek przeszedł przez ten proces.